Along the low-rolling hills of Stormydown near Bridgend in South Wales, an amazing discovery was made in 1898. A local stonemason who was working at the old quarries of Mynydd Twmpwth of Ddaear was preparing some of the quarry blocks for use in a stone wall. Upon splitting one of these sandstone blocks, he was amazed to discover the impression of a dinosaur jawbone contained within, that measured almost 11 inches long. Sadly, the name of this mason is unknown, but his discovery is now safely held at the museum in Cardiff. The specimen was obtained from the mason by Mr. John David from FOTH, who then went on to contact Mr. R.H. Tidman for advice on how to proceed with this remarkable discovery. Mr. Tidman was delighted by the offer of the very generous Mr. David to donate the specimen to the Museum of Cardiff to enable further study by the Geological Society and others. The location of the discovery would have been between the modern solar farm and the former Stormydown Airfield alongside the A48, around the junction where there is a road leading to the Llangerwydd to the north. At the time of the discovery, there was a large quarry where the solar farm is now situated that was expanding towards what is now the A48, with many of the smaller ones scattered around on both sides of the A48. The mason who found the jawbone may have been a worker at this quarry, but could also have just been a mason employed by the local farmer. The area around this site has an unbelievable history with evidence from such varied periods in time. It would be difficult to find many sites anywhere to rival this history, beginning with signs from the Triassic with the dinosaur jawbone, burial mounds still evident of leading figures of ancient life, leading on through time to the marching feet of the Romans passing by, a Dark Age camp now sadly quarried away, a medieval castle and town of the Sturmy family, the quarries fueling the Industrial Revolution, the RAF planes swooping down to land, and now finally the windmills standing aloft, taking history through into modern times and on into the future. The fossil was contained inside a block of sandstone that is fairly hard and has a whitish colour. The sandstone in the immediate area is within the boundary of the upper Penarth group of the Little Stock Formation, also known as Rhaetian layers, dating to the late Triassic period. Exposed sections of this formation can still be seen within the nearby M4 motorway cutting, and the remains of the quarries that survive nearby, like the quarry used for the Stormy Line works. From the geology and other fossil finds in this part of the Penarth group, including fossils of fish and invertebrates, it is thought that this area was once a tidal zone between an island and its mainland, making this part of the formation quite rare, as it's unusual to have marine and terrestrial dinosaur finds together in the same layer. The Stormydown discovery consisted of 3 specimens. The first 2, when placed together, make a complete imprint of a lower jaw, with the third being part of the other side of the jaw. This discovery was the first of its species to be found anywhere in Wales, and remains a rare find today, with very few additions in intervening years to help further study the species. Though there have been other teeth found that bear many similarities found on the opposite side of the Bridgend Channel, near Housecliff, towards where the areas of the 7 bridges are. The jawbone is immediately identifiable as coming from a carnivorous creature. The teeth are clearly visible with a high degree of preservation. The jaw measures 11 inches long and has a close resemblance to a fossil found in Sherborne, Dorset that was a holotype of Megalosaurus aspersus. The Welsh fossil jaw had 7 large intact teeth and signs of other small teeth that are beginning to sprout through. The teeth of the specimen had serrations along the side, and a very neat line of these serrations running along the cutting edge of the tooth, and the serrations were oriented at a right angle to the growth of the direction of the teeth, showing the significant similarities to another species called Avalonia. The remains appear to be from the theropod branch of the dinosaur family tree. Also contained within the specimen can be seen small traces of these bivalve shell creatures the experts think are called Pilastra ornicola, but the remains are too worn to make a definitive identification. There is also a larger triangular looking creature that could be an imprint of a bivalve mollusk called Mephoria. The most contentious issues concerning the discovery appear to be the lack of consensus on what to name the fossil and what species to attribute to the find. In the 19th century, at the time of the discovery, it was described as Zanklodon cambrensis. But this name was unsatisfactory to the task as more and more information was being added from all around the world. So by 1908, the specimen was recategorized to Megalosaurus cambrensis. I referred to that name for the next 80 years until the situation was complicated a bit when Mr. Ralph Molnar coined the new term Newtonosaurus in 1990. And this name quickly gained popularity and seems to replace the previous names with the public. The fossil still to this day has never been formally named. The varying discussions between the experts about the specimen is recorded in the Quarterly Journal of the Geological Society of London, just published early after the discovery was made, and also include an excellent illustration of the specimen. The creature wouldn't have been on the scale of the Jurassic giants, however it still would have been of the size that would scare the living daylights out of anyone who could travel back in time and see it in the flesh. It would have stood on 2 legs, had a fairly large head, fully armed with a nasty set of blades for teeth. His arms would have been quite small in proportion to the rest of his body, and his stance would have been balanced out by a long and strong tail. It's an amazing thought as you drive past the site today, passing a landscape that 200 million years ago, it would have been a dinosaur roaming free, living its life, and where it would finally meet its end. To see the remains of the Stormydown's first resident, a visit to the National Museum of Wales in Cardiff will need to be made.